WASSCE 2020, the core mathematics paper. This is paper 2. We are finding the solutions to the WASSCE core mathematics paper. Currently, we are starting with question 11. The diagram shows a circle center O with C and D as points on the circumference. Line segment DQ is a tangent produced at Q. Find the value of M. So C, D are points on the circumference. Then O is the center. Since O is the center, it means this line is equal to this line, because all radii of a circle are equal. So this angle will be 25. Now there are several ways you can do this, but this is how I'm going to go about it. So this is 25 degrees because the base angles of an isosceles triangle are equal. Then also you know that the tangent DQ meets the radius at 90 degrees. So this angle is 90 and this one too is 90, but we need only this. So using triangle CDQ, we can then calculate the value of M. Triangle CDQ. So we add the angles 25 plus 25 plus 90. So we know we have 3 angles in a triangle, so this form one angle here, then these are the other remaining angles 25 and M, and we equate it to 180 because the interior angles of a triangle sum up to 180. Now if you add this and this, 25 you get 50 plus 90, 140 plus M equal 180 degrees. M would therefore be equal to 180 minus 140, which is equal to 40 degrees. Now the second part, find the equation of the line which has the same gradient or slope as 2y plus x equals 6 and passes through the point -2, 3. So because this line we are interested in finding the equation of has a slope that is the same as this, we need to first of all determine the slope of this line. To do that, we write it in the slope-intercept form. So let's subtract x from both sides to get something like this. Next, we divide through by the coefficient of y, which is 2, and we have this. Compare this to the slope-intercept form, y equal mx plus c. You can see m is equal to -half. So that is our gradient or slope. And to find the equation of a line, we need a slope and a point, which is given, the point is given as this. So we choose this one to be our x1 and this to be our y1. We just plug them inside this equation and the slope to get this equation. Let us multiply through by 2. Now let's expand this side, -x minus 2. That will be the right hand side. So we group like terms to get 2y plus x equal 2. Here is question 1. In a small town, 68% of the people owned television, 72% owned radio, and 12% owned neither television nor radio. Represent the information on a Venn diagram. What percentage of the population owned television only? So this is a Venn diagram, and to do that we need a rectangle for the universal set and 2 circles for the people who own television and those who own radio. So we're told that 68% owned television. Those are the 68. Since we are dealing with percentage, our universal set is 100, and the number of people who own radio out of 100 is 72, and we're told that 12 out of 100 owned neither television nor radio, so that will go over here. So the next thing we do now is to calculate the percentage of the population own television only. To do that, we need to calculate the value for x. So we add all this and it must give us 100. So we simplify. Now this will cater for this. 68 plus 72 plus 12 will give you 150. 152 rather. Then we solve for x to get 52. Now those who like television only is this region over here. That will be 68 minus x. So the percentage of population who own television only is 68%. The B part of question 1. Boidu and Answer formed a company and agreed that their annual profit will be shared in the ratio 4:5 respectively. If at the end of the year Answer received 5,000 more than Boidu, how much was Boidu's share? So we can use variables. Let's use their first letters, their initials. So Boidu is to Answer, the ratio is 4:5. We can rewrite this as fractions. B over A is equal to 4/5. Let's flip both sides to get this, because we are looking for Boidu. So if you flip both sides, we can make A the subject, so multiply both sides by B to get this. We want to get the equation in terms of B so that we will not waste time. Now the next, so we are done with the first sentence. That gives us the first equation. For the next sentence, we have, if at the end of the year Answer received 5,000 more than Boidu, meaning that if Boidu gets 5,000, Answer will receive 10,000. So you add 5,000 to Boidu's amount to get Answer's amount, and that will give us equation 2. The next thing we do now is to solve the two equations simultaneously. Already we have this expressed in terms of B, so put equation 1 in equation 2 to get this equation. Now to create a fraction, you multiply through by 4, and that will give you this. You group similar terms. 5b minus b will be equal to 20,000. Then b will be equal to 20,000. So that is Boidu's share. You are done. Then we go to the next question. Make y the subject of the relation b is equal to 2x all square root of q into 1 plus r squared over y squared all over s. So we don't have one approach, but this is how you can do it. We square both sides. Someone can decide to divide both sides by 2x first. Someone can also decide to square both sides first. You'll still get the same result. So let's divide both sides by 2x, and now we can square both sides. So when you square both sides, p squared will give you p squared, and 2x squared will give you 4x squared. Now, because we want to get y squared as the subject, let's multiply both sides by s over q to get rid of this. So s over q, so this will cancel this. You're left with this p squared s. If you multiply this and this, you get p squared s, and this will give you 4qx squared is equal to 1 plus r squared over y squared. Let's subtract y from both sides. So we are getting something here. Let us simplify the left hand side. So 1 is the same as 4qx squared over 4qx squared. So just subtract the exponent, and we just subtract the numerators to get p squared s minus 4qx squared over 4qx squared. Now let's somersault both sides of the equation. Let's flip both sides of the equation. That means we are reciprocating both sides to get this. Now that y is the numerator, we can simply multiply both sides by r squared, and that will give us something like this. So we now take plus or minus square root of both sides to get this. So you can leave your answer like this. Now the b part, given that m is equal to 3, n equal -2, and x equal -1, evaluate this expression. So it's just a matter of substituting the values. So note that the square will get rid of this, so we are going to get +4 here. Then the -1, multiply all this. 2 times 3 times 4, 2, 3, 6. This will give you -24 over 9 plus 2, which is -24 over -11 over 11, and that will be -2 whole number 2 over 11. Question 7. We have this diagram, and we want to calculate the length of BD. So to do that, just draw a line from here to here. And we were told that in the diagram AB is equal to AD. AB is equal to AD. So it means triangle ABD is an isosceles triangle. So if you know that concept, then you are 50% through. And we're told CD is 5 centimeters. Now because this is an isosceles triangle, it means this is the base, and you know that if you drop perpendicular from the vertex over here, to the base, it will meet it at 90 degrees, and both sides, or that altitude, that height, will divide the triangle into two equal parts. So that is the best place to draw the perpendicular from. So this angle here will be 90. If you understand the concept of isosceles triangle, this is the base. So if you drop an altitude from this to this, it will meet it at 90 degrees. Good. So it means we can call this place N. ND will be equal to NB. Now we can use trigonometry because this will be 25 degrees. The triangle ANB and triangle AND are congruent. So this will be 25 degrees. So we can use trigonometry here. The best one that can make you move fast is the sine ratio. So sine 25 will be equal to ND over AD. So AD is now the hypotenuse. This means that sine 25 is equal to ND over 8. Multiply both sides by 8 to get ND is equal to 8 sine 25 degrees. If you multiply both sides by 2 again, you get BD, which is what you are looking for. So multiply both sides by 2 to get 2 times of ND is equal to 16 sine 25 degrees. But you know 2 times of ND will give you BD. So therefore BD is equal to 16 sine 25 degrees. And that will give you 6.76. But we're told that you must leave your answer to the nearest whole number, which is 7 centimeters. What about the second part, the area of triangle BCD? BCD. So to do that, you need to find the height, which is BD, BC. So use Pythagoras theorem. So BC squared plus CD squared equal BD squared. Using triangle BCD, substitute the values. So that will give us 49 minus 25, which is 24. Take square root of both sides, you get 2 root 6. So BC is 2 root 6. Now area of a triangle is half base times height. So it means the area is equal to half times 5 times 2 root 6. And that will give you 5 root 6, which is approximately 12.25 or 12 centimeters squared to the nearest whole number. Now the B part, a man is 5 times as old as his son. In 3 years' time, the product of their ages will be 380. Find their present ages. So let the man be M years and his son be S years. Then we're told that the man is 5 times as old as his son. So that will be M equal 5S. Then also in 3 years' time, the man will be M plus 3 years and the son will be S plus 3 years. And their product will be 380. So that will give us another equation. M plus 3 times S plus 3 equal 380. Now substitute 5S in place of M over here to get 5S plus 3 equal this. Do not equate this to this or this to that, because that property applies to only 0. So we need to expand. So when you expand, you get this. So you group similar terms and you simplify this to get negative 371. Now the next thing we do is to split the middle term here, and that will be by multiply 5 by this, splitting the middle term, we get this expression. So when we factor, we get this s into 5s plus 53 minus 7 into 5s plus 53 is equal to 0. So we factor further and we realize that one of the numbers is going to be negative, so we discard this one. So the son is 7 years, hence the man will be 5 times 7, which is 35 years. Let's look at the number 3. We have this not drawn to scale, and we are supposed to find the value of y. I know we have several ways, but it is a very easy question. You know, this here, this and this should give you 55, and this and this should give you this and this should give you 180. The same time, this and this should this and this should give you 180. This and this should give you 180. So it means this must be equal to 55. You can try it and see. You can find this angle, whatever it is, then subtract it from 180 to give you this, because it's a cyclic quadrilateral. Then also taking the triangle as a whole, taking triangle JIM, we know that 1, 2, 3 must give us 180. Good. If you don't want to do it that way too, you can also observe that this angle, using the exterior angle property of triangle MLK, this angle is equal to 55 plus 2y. Then using the cyclic quadrilateral property, this angle and this angle should be 180. So they will all give you this same result. 3y plus 55 plus 2y is equal to 180. So this means that 5y is equal to 180 minus 55. 5y will be equal to 125. Divide both sides by 5 to get y to be 25. Then we have this part, given that tan x is equal to 1 and x is an angle between 90 degrees and 0 degrees inclusive. We are to evaluate 1 minus sine square x over cos x. There are so many ways you can solve this. If you are smart enough, you should know that this is equal to cos x, because this will give you cos square x, and cos square x over cos x should give you cos x. But if you know that, you just simply draw the triangle and calculate cos x, then you are good, you are gone. But another way you can also do it is to find x. If you take tan inverse of both sides, if tan x is equal to 1, then it means x is equal to tan inverse of 1, which is 45 degrees, and hopefully the angle is in the first quadrant, so this is the only angle, 45 degrees, in the first quadrant that satisfies this equation. So just put x here, just put 45 here and 45 here. So that will give you 1 minus sin 45 squared over cos 45. So you square this, you get 4 over 2 over 4. So this is the same as 1 minus half, and half over root 2 over 2. You can cancel this and this to get 1 over root 2. Then you have to rationalize. Rationalize means you multiply both sides by root 2 over root 2. And that will give you root 2 over 2. So the correct answer is root 2 over 2. So if you don't want to use that method, you can use the triangle. So if you use a triangle, this will be a 90 degrees angle. Then the next thing we do now is to locate where your angle will be. You can put it here or here. So let me put it here, x. So if I put it here, tan x equal 1, it is the same as 1 over 1, or anything over itself. So 1 over 1. This place will be 1 squared plus 1 squared, which is root 2. Square root of 1 squared plus 1 squared will be root 2. So cos x. Okay, let's go. You know, from here, sin x will be 1 over root 2, and cos x will be 1 over root 2. So you do that. Or you can simply know that this is equal to cos x, and cos x is equal to cos x is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 1 over root 2. And if you do 1 over root 2, you get root 2 over 2, which will give you the answer for this thing. So this thing is equal to this. Or you can still put 1 over root 2 here and 1 over root 2 here and simplify. You still get root 2 over 2.